Is U.S. birthright citizenship really ending? This week, the Supreme Court made a decision that could change what it means to be born American, 7 South, in just 30 days. Children born to undocumented immigrants or visa holders may no longer be granted automatic citizenship in 2806 South U.S. states. President Trump is celebrating. Immigrant families are panicking, and the legal battle's far from over. What did the court actually decide? What happens next? 6 South and why? Is this ruling about much more than just babies and borders? Let us break it down step by step. The U.S. Supreme Court just issued one of the most impactful immigration rulings in modern history. Birthright citizenship may no longer apply to every baby born in the U.S. How did this happen? What does it mean for immigrant families, visa holders, and the Constitution? Let us break it all down in plain language. Chapter 1. The executive order that started it all. President Trump signed a new executive order on his first day back in office. This order ends automatic citizenship for babies born in the U.S. to undocumented immigrants or visa holders. That includes parents on H-1B F-1L1 visa. It sparked immediate outrage in legal action. 22 states, immigrant rights groups, and pregnant women filed lawsuits to block it. Chapter 2, 08 South. What is a nationwide injunction? A nationwide injunction is when one judge can block a policy from taking effect across the entire country. For years, both Democrat and Republican presidents saw their policies blocked this way. In this case, federal judges in Seattle, Maryland, and Massachusetts froze the executive order nationwide. But the Trump administration did not ask the Supreme Court to rule on the policy itself. Instead, they asked to lift the freeze in states that had not sued. Chapter 308 South Supreme Court Decision. On June 27, 2025, the court ruled 63 along ideological lines. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the majority opinion. The court said, federal judges cannot block policies for the entire country unless it directly affects those who sued. This means the birthright citizenship order can now be enforced in 28 states that did not challenge it. The order goes into effect 30 days from the ruling. Chapter 407. South countdown to change in 30 days. This ruling does not apply immediately. Other states still have time to file lawsuits. Civil rights groups are already filing class action lawsuits in Maryland and New Hampshire. But if no new suits are filed by then, the order becomes active in most of the U.S. That means birthright citizenship will not apply in 28 states for babies born to undocumented parents or visa holders. Chapter 506 South. Why this case is so unusual. 7 South. This was not a normal case. There was no formal petition or clear legal question. The justices held emergency arguments outside their regular calendar that rarely happened. They treated the case as a fast-track issue due to its nationwide implications. Chapter 6. Political reactions from both sides. President Trump called it a giant victory. He said it finally stops rogue judges from blocking his policies. Bondi said judges turned courts into imperial power centers. Senator Schumer called the decision a terrifying step toward authoritarianism. Only 28% of Americans support ending birthright citizenship, according to a recent poll. More than half oppose. Chapter 7. The Legal 06 South Foundation of Birthright Citizenship. The 14th Amendment guarantees that all persons born in the U.S. are citizens. This was ratified in 1868, after the Civil War. The Supreme Court reaffirmed this in 1898 in a case called Wang. Courts have upheld it ever since. This ruling does not change that yet, but it opens the door for a possible reversal in the future. Chapter 8. The opinions from the 10 South. Justice Barrett said, courts cannot use their power to stop national policies unless it helps the actual plaintiffs. Justice Sotomayor dissented, saying, no right is safe in this new legal system. Justice Jackson warned it was an existential threat to the rule of law. She said the legal arguments used by the majority are their decision allows unchecked executive power. Chapter 9. What is a class action lawsuit? With nationwide limited class actions are now the main option. A class action lets one lawsuit protect a group of people, but it has rules under Federal Rule 23. The group must be similar and certified by a judge. Even if a class is approved, people may still have to take extra steps to benefit. It is a slower process compared to nationwide and Chapter 09 South 10. What happens next? In fall 2025, the constitutionality of the executive order will likely return to the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Civil rights groups will continue to file lawsuits in multiple states. Federal courts will start applying this new ruling to other blocked Trump policies. Existing nationwide injunctions could be removed or narrowed. The legal fight has just begun. Chapter 11, 07 South. Beyond immigration, what is at stake? This decision limits federal courts from blocking laws and policies nationwide. It could affect voting rights, transgender protections, refugee programs, and more. It shifts more power to the president and reduces checks from the courts. Legal scholars say, 09 South. It is a fundamental shift in how American law works. Some call it the end of judicial oversight as we know it. For international students and visa holders, this ruling creates serious concerns. If a student on an F1 visa has a baby in the U.S., that child may no longer get automatic U.S. citizenship, depending on the state. This adds stress and uncertainty for young student families, especially those planning long-term academic or professional futures in the U.S. The ruling may also force families to travel across states just to give birth in a place where citizenship is still protected, increasing financial and medical risks. In the bigger picture, this decision signals a shift toward stricter immigration enforcement and fewer rights for nothing, which could impact future student visa policies, post-study work rights, or 08 South. Many students feel less secure about their long-term prospects in the U.S. after this ruling. The Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling did not decide. 09 South whether 07 South. President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship is constitutional. However, it allows the order to take effect in 28 states that have not legally challenged it, starting 08 South in 30 days. Attorney General Pambondi declined to provide details on how the policy would be enforced, including who would determine parental citizenship. She insisted those issues were still pending in court and would likely be resolved in the next term. When asked about enforcement priorities, Bondi deflected. 10 South, saying violent criminals were the main focus, not newborns of undocumented parents. Instead of explaining the policy, Trump and Bondi used the ruling to promote their immigration agenda. Trump repeated unproven claims that criminal cartels exploit birthright, citizenship, and called the long-standing interpretation of the 14th Amendment wrong. Despite legal precedent from as far back as 1898, affirming citizenship for children born on U.S. soil, including children of Chinese immigrants, Trump's plan represents a major legal shift, backed by conservative scholars. He celebrated the court's decision as a win, against what he called liberal judges who have blocked his agenda in the past. Pros and cons of the Supreme Court's 2025 ruling. The recent Supreme Court ruling limiting nationwide injunctions and allowing birthright citizenship executive order to take effect in some states has both supporters and critics. On the positive side, the decision strengthens the separation of powers by reducing judicial overreach and gives elected presidents more authority to carry out their agendas. It also discourages judge shopping and promotes the use of proper legal processes like class action lawsuits. Supporters argue that it brings legal clarity by limiting injunctions 07 South only to those directly involved in a case, which could speed up the implementation of policies in states that do not challenge them. However, the ruling comes with serious concerns. It creates a confusing patchwork of rights across the country, where babies born in some states may be citizens while others are not. Critics say it weakens the judiciary's ability to protect constitutional rights and leaves many people without immediate legal protection. It threatens the long-standing principle of birthright citizenship guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. The ruling also increases legal uncertainty for immigrant families and may 1 South encourage presidents to push aggressive policies with fewer checks and balances. Many view it as a step toward unchecked executive power and a threat to the rule of law. Final thoughts. This is not just about immigration. It is about how power is distributed in our democracy. It is about the Constitution and the future of civil rights in America. If you or someone you know is affected, consult a trusted immigration lawyer now. Like this video, 18 South. Subscribe for more updates on U.S. law, politics, and global policy. Stay informed, stay empowered.